I am Commander N.A. Mohan, a retired Indian naval officer, currently a resident of Vancouver, Canada. I have the unique privilege and honor to be the project manager of Factor 2017, which, as far as I know, is the world's inaugural conference dedicated to osteosarcoma. This is being held at Miami from 23rd to 25th February 2017. Today is February 6th. The conference is just over 2 weeks away. Unfortunately, I will not be there in person to attend the conference since I am myself battling metastatic osteosarcoma with bilateral lung mets and pleural effusions. The accompanying symptoms of pain and breathlessness escalated considerably a week or two ago, which now requires constant hospital care. Hence, travel is not possible in the near future. I have been intimately involved with initiating, planning, and organizing the conference every step of the way. Since I am not going to be there in person in Miami, I thought of sharing some of my thoughts and this experience of organizing the conference with the attendees and also the larger audience who will not be present at Miami. Going back now a bit on how I got involved with this conference. Teresa Beach, now a bereaved osteosarcoma parent, Jonathan Agan, a cancer advocate, and Anne Graham, the founder of MIB Agents Osteosarcoma Alliance, met in the middle of 2016. They opined that a conference was urgently needed early to get things moving to improve a 3-decade-long stagnant and poor patient outcomes. I read about this need, and in a flash, I just knew this was my perfect project. I immediately jumped in with the aim to make it happen sooner rather than later, considering my own uncertain prognosis. We had met online about a year or so earlier as part of ACORE, a very popular osteosarcoma discussion group. Having myself retired after 20 years of rich experience in the Indian Navy, followed by more than 12 years in Civvy Street, I found myself perfectly poised to deliver the project. I had solved numerous problems and managed complex projects before. This would be an interesting one to handle, though it was a new field. However, I am no stranger to malignancy. I am battling a radiation-induced osteosarcoma since 2013, caused by palliative radiation given for a bone lymphoma, a stage 4 lymphoma, in 2005. To get pointer on how to proceed in this field of cancer research and to get a conference going, I initiated several long discussions with two of my relatives, Dr. Chandramouli, a researcher with rich experience in this field from Rockefeller University, and Dr. Ramachandran, a pediatric surgeon from the University of Missouri, who had been following my osteosarcoma case very closely and had been advising me from time to time since 2013. With their inputs, I developed my strategy and approach how to attract researchers and clinicians to commit to attending the conference. My profuse thanks to them both for their guidance and support all the way. They will both be at Miami. Dr. Ramachandran will be accompanied by his wife, Dr. Anuradha Rajagopalan, a pediatrician who also works at the University of Missouri. More details on the genesis of this conference has been covered adequately on the conference website. These aspects will also be covered by Teresa Beach and Anne Graham during the conference. They will also convey our expectations from this meeting in improving patient outcomes from this rare pediatric cancer, which is truly an orphan in many ways. Teresa is a bereaved parent. Anne is an adult survivor, whereas I gamely fight on, as only a warrior should. We together form a sub-triad of one leg of the main triad, the patient community. The second leg comprises clinicians, researchers, and the third leg comprises nonprofits, support groups, and pharma. So after doing a quick analysis, we just put a stake in the ground for the conference date, targeting February to March 2017. This would be soon after the new year and the new president would have taken over. It was ambitious and risky, but doable. The Zika virus was a risk which thankfully went away. My sincere thanks to Dr. Jonathan Trent and Dr. Matthew Trucco, who immediately offered to be the scientific organizers and co-hosts at the University of Miami. A thanks to Dr. Alex Chow of Sloan Kettering and Dr. Lisa Wang of Baylor, who did briefly consider hosting but could not due to various reasons. The rest is history. The way things moved, getting professionals on board, osteosarcoma nonprofits, and patients and their families, it was amazing. Everyone was excited and eager to change the status quo. We targeted over 120 osteosarcoma clinicians and researchers who were constantly bombarded with persistent communication by me since July last year. And I must have been a real pest with my follow-ups. Trust me, meeting me in person at Miami could have been much worse. So it's perhaps just as well that I am a no-show at Miami. Well, so now we have over 130 attendees at Miami, all eager to brainstorm and make a difference, of which 50% are professionals, with nonprofits, patients, families taking up the remainder. With help from Dr. Jonathan Trent and Dr. Trucco, we drew out a jam-packed, meaningful agenda with top specialists invited to speak on each subject. Most accepted our invite immediately. Money, donations, they too flowed in spurts, though we did not receive any big grants. One of the big grant organizations actually cited one of the reasons for declining their grant to us was that we were all working pro bono. Just imagine that. Pretty surprising. I would also like to thank the spontaneous support, both moral and financial, from my family, numerous relatives and friends in the Indian Navy and Civvy Street. They are from all over the world, from India, USA, Australia, Dubai, and elsewhere overseas, including Canada, my new home for the past 5 years. I'm glad to announce that my family, friends, and I contributed about 50% of the conference budget. A very big thank you to them all from the bottom of my heart on behalf of the osteosarcoma community. My best wishes to each one of us representing the triad. We should aim to do more faster, better, to achieve more positive patient outcomes. Status quo is simply not acceptable. We should endeavor to keep pegging away at solutions, both use traditional and out-of-the-box thinking, with the best tools, techniques, and human talent. I'm sure this will happen with Factor 2017 as the collaborative platform and enabler. My best wishes to Anne Graham and MIB Agents Osteosarcoma Alliance for this event, future Factor conferences, and related initiatives. It was great interacting with you, Anne, albeit over the phone and FaceTime these past few months. I hope to meet you Teresa, John, and Matteo one day. If I get tied up, please be my guest in Vancouver, beautiful British Columbia. I have spoken enough about what I and along with my family and friends are given to the conference. I have received much too. The rare opportunity for a naval officer to interact with top osteosarcoma specialists in various disciplines, right from pathologists to surgeons, clinicians, and researchers, albeit all virtually. Being a navigating officer of Indian naval warships, ranging from landing ships to the aircraft carrier INS Virat, she was HMS Hermes, the flagship in the 1982 Falklands War. I pretty much missed over the past 20 years my daily morning watch on the ship's bridge from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. The intense prep work for the conference in the first 3-4 months, however, brought me back to the good old Navy days. It saw me up and about around 5 to 6 a.m. daily, and I went to bed only around 10 p.m. How, you may ask? From June 2016 onwards, I signed up as a member of Anne Graham's team, MIB agents, located in Vermont on the Eastern Time Zone. So my new MIB email signature block had the Vermont address, but my Vancouver cell phone number. I then started receiving several inquiries July onward and feedback, mostly through email, which I responded to at leisure. But I also received quite a few phone calls from many of your staff and officers at 5:30 to 6:30 a.m. Pacific time, which was around 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. So essentially, these became my morning alarm calls, but which I could not refuse. Well, one call for me was worth an attendee. One particular call was at 5:40 a.m. directly from Dr. Alex Chow of Memorial Sloan Kettering. He regretted being unable to host the conference. While the news itself was disappointing, the good part was that it welcomed me to another refreshing dawn in beautiful British Columbia. So much to be thankful for. I would also like to take this occasion to thank my family and friends who helped me in my battles against lymphoma in India. Maithili, Srinivas, Dras, Jayashri, Gayatri, and against osteosarcoma here, my brothers Sriram and Kumar, Jayashri, her husband Shankar, Balaji, Supriya, Christine, Devaya, Maithili, Ani Fuller, Swaminath, Anuradha, Bhavani, Sid Chopra, George Gurjeet, Desi, SK, Sid and other ex-Indian Navy friends in BC, Harvey and the tennis gang from White Rock and Hazelmere tennis clubs, Ted Collins, Brian McGovern, John Matheson, Dennis, and many more. The list is really very long, and I know that I have missed quite a few names who are also very helpful. And last but not the least, I would like to thank the oncologists I consulted since 2013 for the osteosarcoma. Dr. Ursula Lee, my primary physician at BC Cancer Agency. She was most helpful and supportive all the way. Dr. Paul Clarkson, the cheerful Kiwi who performed the limb salvage surgery in December 2013 at Vancouver. Dr. Kilara from HCG Bangalore who did the Saiban. Dr. R.V. Kumar and Dr. Meena Augustus who arranged the cytotron and fawn treatments at Bangalore. Dr. Edwin Choi from MGH Boston. Dr. Elizabeth Loggers from Seattle. Dr. Lisa Wang from Baylor. Dr. Pete Anderson from Cleveland Clinic. Dr. Paul Klimo from West Vancouver. Dr. Scott Schutze from University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. Dr. Dev Parmar, a naturopath and a tennis buddy from Fort Langley, British Columbia. That was quite a list. Well, I think it is high time now to wind up this monologue. I hereby dedicate my efforts in this conference to my parents. My dad, Mr. Natarajan, was a senior officer in the railways in India. He passed away in 2015. My mother, Vimla, gamely and bravely continues to live life on her terms in Nasik, a town near Mumbai. They have been my pillar of strength for over 5 decades. I also dedicate this effort to my next generation, my wonderful son Ashwin, who's a mechanical engineer working at Calgary. He has a bright future ahead. Sometime in the early 70s, when talking about what one's aim in life ought to be, my dad had once told me, Mohan, you must endeavor to leave your footprints on the sands of time. I do hope that my intense efforts, along with those of others these past months, will help make a telling contribution to osteosarcoma research. As I pen these lines from the Peace Arch Hospital in White Rock, I can see a breathtaking view of snow-clad Mount Baker in Washington state, located north of Seattle. I also see blue skies and a blue ocean across the US-Canada border. To paraphrase Robert Frost, the sky and sea, so blue and deep, we have many promises to keep. Thank you and God bless. Keep smiling.